Doei.
Peace, Margaret.
Here we are again.
I tried to answer your text, but the juice was gone on this one, so
oh, no juice.
Delivered.
No worries, no worries. So, how are you?
I'm quite emotional this morning. How are you?
Are you?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but in a kind of a, like, in one way, I was sort of like, I was out watering and I was sort of jumping around the place, feeling really, and then I kind of got like a big load of sadness then after that. So she's sort of, but it's okay. I think it's just it's spring.
Yeah, it's well, it's feelings, isn't it? Like they
it's
just
feelings.
are, aren't they? So they go like this, they go like this.
Yeah. And I was thinking a friend had sent me a text about like she's been doing meditation and she's been doing something around how you find where the origins of like cravings and addictions and that comes. So I was asking her about that, what she had found out, and she said there's something about there's a moment of grasping, and I just thought it was very interesting, like how that would translate into movement language, like what it's like, what emotionally happens to you if you begin to grasp.
Yeah.
Like if you don't think about the emotion, but do it from the body first and then see what happens. Anyway, it had me thinking about those things, but yeah.
Very interesting. I mean, in a way that completely relates to performance theory, you know, that idea that, you know, there's a particular method of kind of actor training where instead of you thinking about like a situation in your life where you felt something, the idea is that you adopt that bodily position. So, you know, when you go like this, your body has a feeling memory. And so you feel the feelings that this means or that this means. And so if you start from the body, actually, personally, I think you get there.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I feel I'm not emotional, but I feel kind of very expansive. So just, you know, just kind of I always feel like this period of making art, everything's kind of going in these different directions and it's all feels very exciting and beautiful and kind of, just very creative. So yeah, I feel very, just very alive, I suppose.
Yeah, good. You look alive.
Thanks.
You are alive.
Yeah.
You're not an internet. You're not an internet bot. Yeah.
No, I'm not a bot.
I'm not a bot.
So just in case, Kamal, the people just happen upon this video and it's the first one that they see, shall we just briefly describe ourselves? Do you want to start or shall I?
Okay, I don't mind.
Okay, so hello, this is Rita speaking. Today, my hair is down. My hair is usually up, but today it's down and it's straight, too long, black hair. I'm wearing glasses, black frames. There's a black theme going on here because my top is always black. And behind me, you have a white wall. And I'm a white woman in my late 40s. And I suppose that's me. That's the description of my little window right now. Over to you.
Okay, so in my little window, this is Carmel, and I haven't got my glasses on. So I need to wear glasses for reading, but not for general moving around. So in my little window at the moment, there's a garden behind me. So I'm at the window that's behind me, and I can see the reflection in the machine, in the phone. I can see the reflection of red. So I can see the red jumper I'm wearing, and I can see red leaf behind it. And there's a ginger cat sitting on my lap, and my hair is up, and I'm a woman in her 50s. And and I'm in Glasnevin in Dublin. Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much. So, is it okay if we start as usual? Like we start with the tasks you gave me? Is that okay? I've got lots to show you.
Great, it's so exciting. I will put on my glasses for this, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, so first, I did 3 things this week. I did the transfer of the drawing of the beds that we came up with onto the land.
Okay.
I did planting potatoes.
Woo!
And I did, and I adjusted the plan, the Excel spreadsheet plan, according to your latest email.
Okay.
So here is, okay, so just give me a second. I'm going to do that fiddling, close this window, share a screen so I can show you. Now, before I show you this, actually, I want to say to you that I did this before, you know, that picture you sent me on Messenger of the marking out of the beds with the sticks.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so I didn't see that picture, and I went and did the same thing. But that's just because I know. But that's just because.
Yeah.
So then when I saw the picture, I'm like, but it's that thing I'm aware. In a way, we're all the same humans trying to deal with the same problems in the same circumstances. So what I did was I drew the bed with a stick, and then I couldn't quite see it on the land. So I was like, I need to mark it out with like planks of wood. And so then I was like, oh, now I can see it.
Yes.
And then I saw you, and then I saw your thing. I'm like, we all come up with the same solutions.
Yeah. We do, and I think we probably always have. I mean, all over the world, you know, I think that's the whole thing. And that's the whole thing about doing this type of gardening, is that it brings you back more to those ways that people have always used. Nothing yet. I'm still only looking at you, but oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah, I can see a plot. Yeah.
Okay.
I can see sticks around it. And this is your plot. This is
my
it.
plot. This is it. This is it. This is it.
Oh, how lovely.
I know.
It's lovely to see it.
Oh my gosh. And it felt so good to do it.
Yeah.
So what I did, like, I lifted the plastic out and kind of pinned it around to form the rectangle. Yeah. And then I drew the 8 beds, and then I put the sticks around to mark out the perimeter. And those planks of wood in the middle, they're just for me to have a sense of the 8 beds.
Okay, good. Yeah.
And I'm going to go and get more wood and actually mark them out, or maybe it doesn't need to, because once I build the beds, maybe it's fine. I don't know.
But you that's the whole thing. It's like, once you've already discovered something by being in there, like you discovered that about, oh, hey, I can, if I put the wood around here, I can see it. So I think trust that once you go in and start doing that, you'll know whether you need that or not.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you're there, it's like, then you think, oh yeah, maybe I need that, or maybe I don't need that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the path in the middle for the wheelbarrow, I think you can see that, you know, between the 3 and the 3. And then each one of these little bits of wood in the middle of the land represents where I will do the thinner parts between each one of them. Okay. So is this okay? Is this good?
Good. It's good. I like it.
That's good. And so now I wanted to ask you, so I know you sent me an email that actually explains much more about the beds and stuff, and I actually didn't read that email until after I did this. But that's fine, isn't it? I can now just
they're only they're like supplements for you in a way, you know? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's that. But then I did more than that. So the next thing I want to show you. I put the potatoes down. So there's another film, and now look what I'm doing.
You're covering them over
with compost.
Yes.
So I did what you said, cover them with compost.
Yeah.
And then, and then I went and I got, I think when I edit this, before I put it on YouTube, I just put this film, I edit this film on top of this now. Oh, is that it? No. Oh, wait. No. What? Watch what I'm doing. So
Oh,
that,
you're covering over with something else now, are you?
yeah. So this is, you said
Oh, yeah.
put the compost on top of the potato, and then you said put mulch around.
Yeah. So you're doing that.
Yeah. And then I put a little bit, look. So then
Yeah.
I thought it was really pretty.
Yeah,
And
it
then
is.
and then he also said put manure. And so then I put manure around, and then it got ugly.
Oh, damn it. I hate that. When things start getting ugly. You should always just keep them pretty. That should be your decision. That's how you make your decisions.
So
true.
did
It's
I
true.
did
You
I do
can.
it right? No, but before that, I want to tell you. So I got all the weeds out of that bed.
Yeah.
I watered the soil. So I moved the soil a little bit. I watered it.
But
Then
you
I put
just
the
reference the
potatoes.
top. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just the top. I put the potatoes, then cover with compost.
Yeah.
And then around it, I put like the straw and a bit of green, like grass, and then a bit of manure.
Yeah.
And is it right? Did I do it right? That the mulching goes around and not on the potato?
Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, you could put the mulch on top of the potatoes, but I think it maybe is quite nice what you're doing, that when they begin to grow, the potatoes, then you will put more mulch on top, so that they don't.
Okay.
You just have to remember all the time they need to stay in the dark. That's all you need to think about.
They need to stay in the
They
dark.
need to stay in the dark. The potatoes do, not the plant, obviously, because the green, the potatoes will grow with green leaves, and they're obviously good to come up in the light.
Just the thing.
But if the potatoes start coming up from the ground, then you will want to keep putting some compost around that to make sure that the potatoes stay in the dark. That's all. That's all. It looks lovely. Yeah, it looks good.
I know. I was quite proud of myself. It was like I was really like, oh my gosh, I have done this. This is it. Like, no, like you don't understand. Like, this is so outside my comfort zone. Like, I don't have any relationship to land ever. These fingers don't even touch my plant pots in the house, nothing. So to have done that, I was a bit like, oh my gosh, look at me doing this. And it felt great.
Did you wear gloves? Did you do it with your hands? You wore gloves?
No, I'm not there yet.
Okay, that's okay.
And maybe I never will be, but
that's also
the worms and the like manure, not sure. But I can do it with gloves.
You can, yeah. I mean, I think that's that being not sure there would be a lot of people who would feel like that. So I think that's, it's quite good to accept that. Yeah. It's not necessary.
Who knows? It might
Who
change.
knows where it might lead? Exactly.
Exactly.
You have no idea. It's amazing because, like, I know when I was growing up, I had this terror of wasps, and I don't know whether it was, probably because I got stung as a child or whatever. And now it's like, since I started gardening, and then as years went by, now there's absolutely nothing. I can, you know what I mean? A rat can jump out of a compost heap, and I won't be afraid. It's like now I accept everything there, whereas I used to see them as separate entities,
Yeah, this is the thing, and I think that's. I mean, I am aware. I'm resistant to it, but at the same time, conceptually and intellectually, I am aware that that's what's happened. I have never had this connection, and so I see things as dirty or like dead or decomposing, but theoretically, I know that it's all one. Like, we're all one life.
Yeah. So
the interesting thing about this project is to also have me kind of confronting these things and so
and maybe confronting is even too strong a word, because that makes it seem as if it's some kind of something it's just, I don't know, like just an invitation into something else, it's just like an invitation into another dimension or something, or another part of living. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Great. One thing I wanted to ask you is, did I do the right thing with potatoes by just putting them on the soil? Because then what happened was, after I did that, and I read another email you sent me about the beds, there I think you say maybe put some compost first. So then I thought, did I do it wrong? Should I have done loosen the soil, put some compost, and then put the potatoes? Or is it okay that I just loosen the soil and put the potatoes?
I think it's okay. I think it's okay.
You think?
I mean, you could have done, I suppose what I was suggesting was just that you would maybe try a few different methods just to see which one.
Okay.
You know, so it's a bit like you could also try the other. You could also try and make a pocket and, you know, make a little pocket and then put the soil into it and put the.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be fine. I think it's going to be fine. Yeah.
I hope so. Okay, that's great. So out of the 8 beds, now one entire bed is potatoes. And I did what you said, like 30 centimeters apart.
Yeah.
So, and then I think you were suggesting that maybe I do courgettes this week. Is that right?
Was I?
Oh, no, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think I was, but I suppose I would be thinking at the moment, the other one would be thinking about your onion family. Do you know if you wanted to get any of those in?
Okay.
So yeah.
So this week is the onion family.
That might be good to think about those, like about onions, shallots, scallions, you know, any of those that might be available to you.
Scallions. And shall I?
Red onions.
In another email, you also sent me like something that almost had a function for each bed. Do you remember? Where is it?
I think I send you a copy a copy of a plan, somebody else's plan from a book, was it? Was it that one?
Yeah, but it wasn't that.
Oh no, it wasn't that one.
Let me see.
Was it talking about what happens in beds? I might be able to find it on my other device.
So I suppose my question is, so I have 8 beds, right?
Yeah.
How does it work? Do I say to myself, this bed's going to be for potatoes, this bed's going to be for onions, this bed's going to be for broccoli, or do I mix it all up? Or some beds are mixed and some beds are not?
Okay,
so I found it. Sorry, let me just read.
Yeah, go ahead.
You said the traditional groupings are the cabbage family, broccoli, kale, etc. go in one bed.
Yeah.
Then you said potatoes on another bed. Then courgettes and pumpkin families, would they be together in one bed or separate?
Yeah, that's like they would be also, a separate bed. They're a separate family. Do you know, they belong together.
Oh, they belong together, the courgettes and the pumpkins.
Family, yeah. So the cucumbers are in that family as well, but you wouldn't have cucumbers outside in Ireland, you know,
No. And then another bed would be leeks, onions, shallots, and garlic.
Yeah.
And then another bed would be peas and beans. And then another bed would be carrots, parsnips, beetroot, chard. Okay, this makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that makes like 6 beds as per your email. And you suggest that maybe this week I take care of the leeks, onions, shallots bed?
Yeah, because I'm just thinking about what's available to you at the moment, you know?
Okay.
It's like what might be, and they're all fine to go in at the moment, you know, like onions are totally fine. You could have been putting them in anyway already, you know.
Okay.
They're not going to be, you know, whereas like if you wanted to put out something like courgette, I would think I would be a bit worried that it's still too cold. And I would prefer to put out those plants when I know it's definitely going to be warm. Because otherwise you're going to put them under pressure and then they might be weak, you know, so you don't want to pressurize anything too soon. Even though it's very tempting when the sun is out and just to throw everything in the ground.
Okay, so if I was to do onions, do I do them the same as the potatoes?
So onions, you're going to get them from, there'll be little onions, little sets.
Little sets.
They're like little baby onions.
Okay. Yeah, the farm must have those.
They do have them, yeah.
Yeah.
And they probably have red onions as well, do they?
I don't know. I'll have a look.
You can check whether they have brown and red or what type of ones they have, because it would be nice to have some red ones, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so when I get those, do I do the same procedure as the potatoes? Just put them on top of the soil and pile on top stuff?
Yeah, so I suppose if I was going to do an onion bed,
Yeah.
maybe it might be good to build it up, like to build it up. The onions are going to be growing up into the light. There's the difference in they're not going down. It's not like your potatoes are in the dark, whereas the onions, you want them to come up. So you want it nice and fertile underneath the onions. So therefore, I think I would be putting my layers on the bed and then popping my onions into it.
Okay, so it's different.
Because you're thinking the onions are coming up into the light, the green, you need the green, you know.
So, okay, so when you say the layers, you mean?
I mean, like your
compost,
your compost and your manure and
stuff.
your mulch.
And do I put cardboard as well, or shall I just not?
No, I don't think.
No.
I mean, I suppose like we're kind of hoping that it's not going to be too weedy.
Yeah.
But the problem, I mean, not a problem. I don't like using the word wrong. No, but, no, but what can happen, of course, with onions is because they don't have. I mean, potatoes are wonderful because they have this big. Once they grow up, they cover everything, so you never really have to worry too much about weeding in between them. Do you know? Because the leaves are out there. The problem, the thing with onions is that they leave lots of space for weeds.
Ah, okay. You know? But I can go in, can't I?
So
and like
weeds. If you want to try, you can of course go in and weed, or you could try. You could think, okay, I am going to put cardboard here, but then I need to build up a good bit on top of the cardboard so that they have enough space to go down.
Yeah. No,
or I think I put the cardboard and I cut a hole in the cardboard and I pop my, so that's also a choice.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to go with your first suggestion, which is to put the compost and the mulch and everything on top.
Yeah.
Then I put the onions. And then do I put some more?
Water them well.
Oh, do I water? Do I do the same? So loosen the soil, get the weeds out, and then do I water the soil? And then do I put the compost?
Yeah, and then water it again.
So water, then compost plus mulch and water again. And only then do I put the onions.
Oh yeah, you can put the onions in and then water afterwards,
Okay, so put the onions, then water, and then what do I cover the onions with?
So they don't really need to be, they just need to be barely peeping up. So the tops of them just like barely peeping up. They don't really need to be completely covered.
Okay.
So you can just have them. The only thing is sometimes if they're a little bit too close to the only thing that can happen is if they're too close to the surface of the soil is that a bird can come along and pick them out.
Okay.
And then you have to replant them again. So that's so to try to get them in kind of firm so that they're not easy to shake out, but it's not a big deal if you keep an eye on it in the beginning and just make sure. But it does happen. You go back and you think, what's happened? And they've all been flung out everywhere. Like, who's been here? But that's the way you find out who also is using your plot.
I see, exactly. All the other beings.
Exactly, all the other visitors who comes along to see, oh, what's going on here? Yeah. Is there anything interesting for me? Any worms? Anything interesting?
I know. Yeah. Okay, let me say it back to you to make sure I've got the procedure right. Loosen the bed.
Yeah.
Get some weeds out, like I did. Water.
Yeah.
Compost.
Yeah.
All over the bed, and then mulch. Put the onions. Is it also 30 centimeters apart?
They don't need to be as far as that. No, you could do half of that maybe. Do you know?
15
Yeah.
centimeters apart. And then water again. And then put compost on top of them, but leave just the top of it looking at the light.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll be able to, when you look at it, you'll see if you look very closely, you'll see where the roots are going to come from. You're going to see which is the top and which is the bottom. You could just
what is the top and the bottom?
even if you took an onion from your kitchen, you'd probably be able to see that there's a little bit at the bottom where you can see it looks like that there could be roots coming from there.
So that bit
And
goes
that's
down.
That's going to be the bit down.
Roots down. I'm glad you told me that, because I would probably just put them anywhere.
But you know what? The thing about them is they would find their own way up anyway. So even if you
Would
just
they?
threw them in the ground and sort of said, oh, I can't be bothered finding out which, they would find the way up. So you
Okay.
don't, yeah. But it's just, it's good to know yourself, you know.
Definitely.
Yourself, you know.
And I think that the farm have a few leeks, leek
Great.
babies. So
Yeah.
how do I plant those? Is it exactly the same? So
Well, I suppose you might think about which, like, are you going to put them in the, you're going to put them in the same bed, but you maybe want them down a far end.
all together in one end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And keep the leeks together, because the leeks are going to be in the ground for quite a long time. So you have to think about, you know, your onions will be up probably before they'll be ready before your leeks will. So you don't really, yeah. So it would be nice to think about where they're going to be, because, you know, you might be looking at them like through the autumn, and, you know,
yeah,
it's nice to think about that. Yeah.
And so with the leeks, so if they're like in little baby plant pots, do I make a hole in the ground and then put the
pot that in, pot the whole pot in? Yeah. Yeah. Now I can maybe send you that. There's some, because I know people have different techniques around leeks. Some people like to make quite a big hole and water it, and always leave that for them to expand into that. Some people just put them into the ground. Personally, I just prefer put them into the ground, but again, it's just one of those things around techniques. But so I'll send you
if you send me,
I'll send you something about that.
So hopefully by next week I can show you my onion bed and leeks, and then I can also show you, like, I'm going to make the paths between the beds a bit nicer, a bit more wood. I can show you that a little bit better.
Wonderful. So just one thing on that. So when I was talking about the different beds, so the thing about there would be 3 plant families that you nearly always have to change where they are every year. All the others can nearly stay in the same place, and it's just because you get a build-up of pests. Like so potatoes, if you keep them always in the same bed, you can end up with eelworms, and then they'll eat all your potatoes. Or if you put your cabbages always in the same bed, you'll end up with something called clubroot. And and the onions also have something, they have white rotter you can get, there's different things they can get. So therefore that's why people talk about rotation, is that they never plant them in the same place. But all the other vegetables can actually, you can put them wherever, you know. That's not going to be an issue for you this year, because you're only going to be, you know, it would only be if you were continuing on next year, then you might think, oh, okay, I put the potatoes there this year, so I'm going to move them, or I'm going to move my onions, I'm going to,
great.
So that's why for the moment, to keep them in separate beds means that it does give that possibility later that they can be moved.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? Also for somebody else that's thinking, oh, well, that's where she was growing potatoes. So, you know, as opposed to that's where she was growing potatoes and onions and cabbage, and, you know?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. So what I'm writing down here is, not only will I define the paths and everything, make everything a bit prettier, but also I'm going to have a think about what goes on each bed.
Yeah.
And then keeping those separate so they could be rotated in the future.
Yeah, just keeping those 3 families separate. The others, it doesn't matter so much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So, so the next thing is, ta-da!
Oh, yes. It got there. Have you opened it?
No, I wanted to open it in front of you.
Okay, great.
Should I do it?
Yes, open it. Let's see what's alive.
Hope so. Oh, it was so nice to receive it this morning. Ooh, I've got a present. Wow. Oh, this is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Everybody, look how beautifully this is done. Thank you so much. Okay, can you talk me through everything?
Yeah, you have to remind me what's there. Okay, so that's that's a perennial kale, which means that it's a kale that you, when you plant it, then you always have it in your garden. And
all around the year.
And always, and every year, like you never have to replant it. So it's,
wow.
That particular one is called Dobbington's kale.
Okay.
And they're cuttings from it. So, so basically you need to get them to sprout to be new plants. And
how do I do that?
Is, so you can, like, the leaves are going to die back. That doesn't matter. It doesn't mean it'll be dead. They should be still moist because I put them into tissue paper, and so they should be fine. So you can try putting one directly into the ground, and you could maybe try one in a pot at home, and then you could maybe put one in with the farmers in their tunnel, maybe.
Okay, one in the pot, one in the tunnel,
and one in the ground.
Into the ground.
And you see they've quite long stems there, haven't they?
Yeah.
They're quite long. So but you'll have to take, so there should be 3 there.
Yeah, there are.
The leaves obviously will have wilted a little bit, so you can just take them off. That doesn't really matter. And then if you plant them about this much into the ground, like plant that, like plunge it down about that much.
That's like what, 5 centimeters?
Yeah, which is about 5 centimeters. Yeah. And now some people, when they get cuttings, would often maybe would put one in water and wait until the roots appear in the water. You can also try that if you want. I'm inclined to just put things straight into the soil. That's my own preference.
I might do that. I might, because it might be interesting to see the roots come out, and then I can make a little film of that.
Exactly. Do that.
Shall I do that this week and then plant them next week?
And also, I mean, if they fail, it doesn't matter. There are more.
Okay.
So I think that the thing about propagating like that, like especially from cuttings, is not to be afraid of it failing. You know, like I know even very, very, very experienced gardeners will say, you know, they might try 10, you know, to get one successful. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, and you know, because it's not like a rare plant or anything. It's not like that this is the only cutting you can ever get from it. Like this is you know, I have a big head of it out there, and it's easy for me to do cuttings from it. So
so I literally just take this off, put them in the water, take the leaves off, and keep looking to see if the roots are gonna grow.
And when the roots start coming, then you can put them into soil or plant them up in a pot. Yeah.
Great. Okay. And now I have these.
Yeah.
I have leeks. I have leeks.
Yeah.
I have pea dwarf meteor. It's from space. This one.
Yes, it's a space. It's from outer space. Yeah. I think there's a meteor shower tonight, maybe, or something. Actually.
Oh, I must check.
So
I have
straight away
runner beans, early spinach, giant leaf, and I have red baron onions. Woohoo! Okay, what do I do with seeds? I've never done anything with seeds ever.
Okay, so you're going to have to get a little tray.
Yeah.
Or anything you might have that's kind of flat, and put some compost in it.
Okay.
And then water it, and then pop your seeds in.
Oh, like what I did in that film I showed you last week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do this.
And you want to germinate them in a warm place, so they're going to need about 15 degrees at least, you know, just to germinate. So
very exciting. Oh, I'm so glad you sent me these.
Yeah, I just thought it would be nice to see what would happen with those.
Definitely.
Yeah,
that's great.
So that you're not only taking, you know, the plants that they have grown, but that you're also
Yeah.
trying. Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I think I've got plenty to do this week. I'm going to do these seeds. I'm going to do the planting of the onions. I'm going to make the beds nicer. Yeah, and the cuttings. So that's good.
Okay.
Oh, and so shall I, with the plan, I've changed the Excel spreadsheet slightly according to your email, because I know you couldn't do the tech from your side.
Yeah.
So if I send it to you, do you mind just reviewing it one more time and let me know if it needs further changes?
Okay, great. Okay. And I'll send you then a few, and I'll also send you on a few methods around planting methods as well.
Yes, particularly for the leeks, you said.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the onions as well.
Great.
Yeah, okay.
And the onions, yeah. Okay, sorted. Super. Oh yeah, and just to say thanks for also, I know you're sending lots of like thoughts and books and things. I'm not replying, but I'm reading everything. And, keep them coming.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I read everything, and
I've understood that by now, that's part of it, that we're not responding to everything that we send immediately.
Yeah.
That happens here. That's part of that's
definitely. Yeah. And I think sometimes with my busyness, I don't have time to reply, so I just kind of go, okay, great. But I wanted you to know I'm not, that's the reason why I'm not replying.
Okay.
Okay. So all the stuff that you did, the dancing. So I want to say to you once again, I just feel like so stunned by what you do. It's so brave and creative and just rich and beautiful. You surprise me every time. And I love that. I love that so much, because I can see you being really playful with like a garden tool or having a bath in a wheelbarrow, and those things are amazing. So yeah, so
I didn't quite go to having the full bath in the wheelbarrow. No, I know. But I did think about it. I thought, it's possible. That could be fun, actually. Yeah.
I love everything. It's so strong already, the content. So just going bit by bit, a little bit, some of my responses. So I have a really good sense of your site now, particularly with those long shots. It's great to see it.
Okay, good.
And I also really liked one thing you did when you held the phone in the middle, I think, and you were rotating, or the phone was rotating. Do you remember when you did that?
Yeah,
you did something like this, or and that also was interesting because of course in the camera you stay where you are, and I just see the world around you spinning, so that's quite interesting.
Okay.
And then in terms of the lighting, I can't believe you actually did get inside the compost bin.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was like, I can ask Carmel to do anything. She's great. She'll go there. Is it smelly though? It's a bit smelly, isn't it?
I don't honestly. Those kind of things, I don't notice them.
You see it really?
I really don't. I don't see that as because it's not offensive to me. So therefore, it's not at all offensive. Yeah, it's rich. Let's say it's rich. It's rich.
Yes. I mean, the only reason why I'm interested in that is because conceptually, and this is where things start to connect. Yeah. Conceptually, it links to something we talked about a few weeks ago around your friend passing away, and then this phrase you said, everything that's dead returns to the soil. And so there's something, you start to make connections between human stories, plant stories, and that's one of the reasons I'm finding that interesting. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does. The decomposing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been thinking about that too. Like when I go through the graveyard, I've been thinking about bodies decomposing, except for then I think, but I know they've been pumped up with chemicals before they were put in the ground. I'm not you know, it begins, but I do begin to think about those things, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so there's that relationship as well, yeah, with the graveyard. So, you know, yeah, you know, we don't have to make any decisions now, but I'm just seeing a few things talking to each other. So they might be a thing. And then, yeah, all the experiments you made with the lighting, like going from really dark inside your house to outside and then back in it again. You see, it's interesting because if we were in a theater, there would be lights on, lights, and then blackout. And so here we have the natural light and the non-theatrical space. So I was thinking it might be interesting. It might be that this play with light becomes the way we begin and end the piece. You know, instead of having lights on, it might be that you go from big inside something to, you know, and that's how we play with that theatrical concept for this piece.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense, because also you have no idea whether it's going to be a sunny or a wet day or any of those things. It's not going, so those kind of things would be,
yeah, exactly.
But the inner and outer you can do.
Say again?
The inner outer you can do, like the inside, and also inside the box, maybe. That's it, like inside those compost boxes is also a dark. Exactly. Like that's always a dark space. Yeah. Exactly. The lid is over. Yeah.
So, you know, we could really like mimic the theatrical experience or framework of it goes to dark, lights on, and then it goes to dark if we wanted, just by moving you with your camera from one place to another, which would be quite interesting. Okay, yeah. Let me write that here actually, so I don't, oh no, I've written it down. Oh my gosh, and then the bits with the gardening tools, I love them all.
Okay.
How do you feel about them though?
Well, yeah, I was a little, I thought, no, I think that it's just, I was thinking, oh, what can I do with these tools? I mean, I did find it wasn't, I mean, the shears and,
I know.
Shears were good with the hair and stuff
and the
watering can. Yeah, that's kind of, I felt that I should be able to do more with the tools. I think I felt that wasn't quite explored enough, to be honest. Yeah,
and probably
I was trying to think about because they're so practical, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the eating with the trowel. That was
I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good.
That worked out.
Yeah, don't worry too much about it being very superficial at the moment, because I'm sending you into so many directions each week that all you've got time is to sort of excavate a little bit and go, oh, there's a thing. Look, Rita, here's a thing. And we don't know what it is yet. So, you know, but I can feel like the potential of those moments. Can you feel it?
Feel what?
The potential.
The potential. Yes. Yeah. And I suppose that's what I wanted to just send you bits just as like that is a possibility of something you could go further down that line, like the way with the the bath, like getting into the wheelbarrow and using that, and using it differently.
I mean they make me smile, and they're also again something interesting around humans using tools to cultivate the land, and then a human using those tools on themselves, the idea of compost and the decomposition of vegetables, but then the decomposition of human flesh, bodies, all these things are sort of overlapping in a way that, this is what I love about art so much, Carmel, is that you don't plan these things and then you go, oh my gosh, all these things are saying the same thing in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I can see some connections already, and they're so quirky, and your performance to camera is so strong as well, because I love when you hold the shears to your hair, and it's odd and funny, but your expression isn't, and so it's that power to kind of perform in that way that's really beautiful and really engaging. Yeah.
It was kind of tempting, actually. It was tempting. It was like, will I actually cut it?
Yeah, maybe in the performance you can, but not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, everything about those explorations I love, even like the fork here on your chin, and just, or whatever that tool is called.
Oh yeah, the rake. It was the rake. Yeah. Yeah. But that was, yeah.
It's
You could do
hilarious.
that with the, you could do that with the fork as well. I mean, when you think about it, pitchforks have been used as against people. People use them as weapons. So it's interesting thinking about the weaponry of tools.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
Yeah.
And then
okay, we could really get into the macabre there. No, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not.
And then there was the whole thing around clothing. And oh my gosh, you've got so many beautiful dresses, so many looks. I was just like, you kept them coming. I was like, I love this one, I love this one, I love this one. But I suppose it really needs.
I was in a friend's vintage shop.
Oh, were you?
The dresses, yes. So I asked her.
I thought that was all your clothes.
No, I asked her, could we just play a little first? So we
okay. Yeah. Great. So tell me how you felt, because I suppose clothing, the important thing is how you feel and what you think conceptually might make more sense for you to wear. And again, we don't need to make any decisions. I was just interested in having you experiment and then find out from you what felt right and what felt, nah, definitely not this.
Yeah, I wasn't really, I felt, I mean, and I suppose that was also, like, I also went into her with that idea in mind. I said, like, I'm not invested in that we have to find something for me today. I just want to actually put things on and throw them into the camera.
Okay.
And just see what happens with them, in terms of movement, see what happens in terms of, not think about, oh, this is something I would usually like to wear, but think about, how does this piece of clothing perform to camera? How does it perform? How, its flow and its color, and how would it be if it was in an outdoor setting? And I think that was, so I was less invested,
Yeah. Okay. So
in kind of I was a bit like, I thought, I'm just going to give them to you and see what kind of, like, what hits you.
Okay, great.
And then we could talk from there. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, obviously some of them, like, I was like, oh my God, these are gorgeous. I'd love to own them all.
I know. Me too. I was like, I want that dress.
Yeah. Which one did you want?
I want the one with the flowers, the really colorful one. I have a similar one.
The blue and green?
No, it had lots of different colors, yellows and reds, and know, like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
That was beautiful. Okay. So again, like me, I was just responding to them, and nothing kind of stood out yet. And so maybe we have all that, we park it, and then I think what's going to happen at some point, something else in the piece will tell us what the option needs to be.
Yeah. I think so too.
But it's good we've got a palette of options.
Yeah,
potentially.
Yeah, and then I was kind of into the idea of, like, I put on the bathing costume.
Yes,
I thought that was kind of interesting as well, because we had been talking about, like, ocean and soil and water, and that thing of, like, through soil or moving through another element, and using, so that you would be
and how. That leads me to ask you, how do you feel about nudity, partial or complete? Like, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm fine about it, but I'm not so sure I like that people would like it out on the square if I went running around so it's like, it actually, when you had mentioned it earlier, I was thinking, it actually reminded me of, like, in the 70s, I think it was in the 70s, we would be watching television. And it was a whole period when, especially in England, people used to, what they call streak. But, like, at a football match, people would suddenly take off the clothes and run around. And I mean, I just remember that. I have that image of watching that in the 70s. And even, like, my parents, who would have been fairly, like, conservative around nudity, they just thought it was hilarious. Like, it was just sort of, suddenly this guy would, like, go running around the place, and and then he'd be gone before anybody could stop him. And I got that image of that, almost of, like, of just doing a streak around the square, like, and you're back in the house before anybody's even noticed that you've been out running naked, No, I don't know whether I'm saying I do it, but I just thought I got that image of it. That's what connected. That was really funny. Yeah.
Okay. It's, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, if it happens, it could be that it only happens in the house, but I just wanted to know how you felt about it. And also, with nudity, it's that thing where it's only if if it's appropriate and only if the work demands it. But even sometimes whenever I've worked with people, so I just think I don't have a problem. Like I just done lots of things nude when it means that it needs to be.
Yeah.
But of course I need to respect people's different levels of comfort. And so that's why I wanted to ask you, because you could say to me, inside the house, maybe even inside the house, even if the work demands it, Rita, personally, inside the house, I would have to still be wearing my underwear or something. And I would completely respect your, like, this is as much as your work as it is mine. So it's just about having this conversation about boundaries and how far each person would want to go.
Sure.
So that's why I asked you.
Yeah, sure.
Again, I mean, at the moment, because you're wearing the bathing suit, it means that probably if we use that. Hello? Oh, you're still there? You're done?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you went back.
No, it was just a light, I think.
Oh, yeah. I suppose what I'm trying to say, at the moment, nothing is asking it, but I would like to have it as an option in case the work begins to ask it, and then if it does, we can have a conversation about levels of comfort.
Totally. Yeah, that's
okay.
Completely fine. Yeah.
Right. Oh, and who is Jerry Blake, who did that work that you're in?
Yeah, so he's a photographer. And a few years ago he did this series where he was photographing growing spaces in Dublin, like urban gardens, and so he came to the square and took some photos here, and then he just so that was where that came from.
Oh, I see. I see. Very good.
Yeah.
And thanks for the other suggestions and texts you sent me both on Messenger and on email. And I haven't read all of them properly yet, but I'm keeping them in a folder for the work that I need to do this week on the piece that you'll be performing, which is much more analysis now. So that leads me into a slight shift in the process that I want to propose for this next week. So instead of being more about me, oh, can you try this with that? Can we try this with that? And you go away and try it. We're going to stop trying new things now. And I'm going to go back and identify what I think are the real strong gems that we have there. Okay. And then ask you to revisit those with some kind of more specific ways for you to develop it. So that then we go, it's like roots, isn't it? Like we go down the roots of it. When I send you those, the nuggets of like the gems, if there's anything that is a gem for you, but I haven't included it, please feel free to include. Okay. Because obviously you're experiencing there, I am just watching. And so sometimes I might not notice the potential of something that you might notice it. So feel free to go, oh, can we also revisit this? So I think this week is going to feel, it's less about newness and it's about revisiting the memory of what was that first superficial exploration with something, and then going deeper into it and find out what that thing can become. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know yet what those things are, because so tomorrow the big work that I have to do is to look at everything you've sent me from day one. And the way I will decide which ones are gems is very instinctive. So something talks to me, I keep it. Something doesn't. I don't analyze too much. I just go, that talks, that doesn't, that talks, that doesn't, that. And then I go to, these are the things that talk to me. Is there anything else you can add? And I'll give you specific instructions for how to develop one or two of them this week. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, that's fine.
Great.
So I won't know until you've done that and you've sent that to me tomorrow or the next day.
So tomorrow, so you will know tomorrow. Okay. And then you'll know tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah. And so I'm also seeing, Carol, obviously, because I've never done this
process remotely before. So what I'm realizing is that very soon, no, in maybe a week or two, again, we're going to shift the way, we're going to need to shift the way we work again. And it's going to be less about, here's some tasks for you to go away and do them and send me things. It's going to be more about, okay, can I see you in the space, holding your camera, walking from left to right? I want to see that. And then I'll be watching it in real time, a bit like a live rehearsal.
Yeah.
And I'll be going, oh, can you do it again? But this time your arm needs to be high, you know, there'll be that, much more of that.
Yeah.
But only once we've kind of stabilized what gems it is that we want to really feed.
Yes.
So yeah, I hadn't.
And we need more stable tech at that stage as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, your tech is in the garden is better. My tech in my land is really bad.
Okay. Yeah.
But your internet is pretty good there.
When I'm out in the garden, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my side. So it might be that I always stay in the house, but you'll be outside.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. So that's it, I think. Do you have any questions or any thoughts or any concerns or?
No, I'm pretty good.
Good.
Yeah,
good.
I think so. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, there was something that struck me, but now it's gone out of my head again. But when I remember, I'll
drop me an email.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like your musings on art and life and this process, they're lovely. So keep them coming. Okay. Well, have a great week then. I'll be in touch tomorrow.
And I'll be in touch with you as well.
Yeah. Oh yes, that's right. Yeah. And let's continue our speak next week.
Good luck with your seeding and growing and Yes.
Brilliant.
Okay. All right. And you know what I wanted just before, because you mentioned there about that you make intuitive decisions in terms of like, try and apply that to what you do in the garden. It's the same thing. You can be an intuitive gardener, you know. Try and trust your intuition. And like you've been doing, saying, oh, I don't like the look of that. Like, just try and trust. Don't be worrying about getting the rightness. Just try and trust your own intuition in the garden as well.
But the thing is, Karma, I don't trust it because I don't know it.
I know.
You know, but because you see, I know dance. I like, in a way, I trust my intuition with this because I've done it so many times, and somehow my mind's learned what, like your mind has learned what works, what doesn't. But with the garden, I feel like I'm a fish out of water, or a horse underwater. I'm like, I don't know, like, how do I, and I don't know what I don't know. So I went to draw the beds and I was like, how do I do this? What do I get, a stick? Do I actually draw it with a pencil? So I don't know what I don't know, but I will try. But it's hard because it feels like, I mean, I really know nothing. Absolutely. You know more about dance than I do about gardening.
But, well, no, I don't know about that, but yeah, I think you know more than you think you know. I think that's what I would say. And and I think it's like, you know, because you've already got somewhere by what you've done already. So it's like,
that's true.
Just slow it down. Just slow it down. Just slow it down when you're there. Just say, you know, trust that you're going to say, you know, I might do that way. Oh, I don't really like the look of that. And trust those decisions. Just, you know, trust them. That's all I'm saying. That's try and
Okay, I will.
Apply the same mindset, you know.
Okay.
Be open and
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.